You're welcome to this Twitter space. My name is Kaka Sudesh, and I'm the team leader at Sudesh International, where we bring fulfillment to forward thinking leaders through innovation and clarity. I've been doing this for a couple of years, so I'm very excited to be on this Twitter space. Like I said before, please share the link with someone that will benefit from this. And today, our topic of discussion is 10x or 10 times more productivity in your career and or business. How can you become more productive in your career or business? So, and the sub theme there that I put on the poster was activity is not productivity. Just because you have a career that has lasted 10 or 5 years or 1 year doesn't mean that you actually productive. So, and it's important for you to be productive because at the end of the day, you have to account for the time. 2023 is here, past halfway, it's about to end. What have you done with your time? I.e., have you been productive or you've been just showing up every day? Don't worry, it's not too late. You can catch up, and that's why we're having this Twitter space. So later, I'll be sharing a great offer that I have for you that are specifically on this call. But here is what you can expect from the call. One, you get to discover what the 10 common mistakes that we make in careers. And, there's a saying that only a fool learns from their own mistakes. Lifetime is too short for you to learn from your own mistakes. So you need to learn from the mistakes of others. And then we'll be getting to the nuggets of career productivity. I'll be sharing a few nuggets, and then I'll be sharing 3 things that every career needs, and then 10 decisions that will make you more productive, i.e., help you to get more out of your career. And then I'll take a few questions, and then we'll call it a day. So please feel free to send to type the question. You can leave it. The handle is at Consult Sudesh. So let's get started. I hope you have your tea. I hope you have your cup of water. Let's rock and roll. Now, a couple of things about careers. I remember when I was starting my career. So I wanted to take you back at a time. So I've just finished my Bachelor of Business Administration degree in accounting. Okay, that was my undergraduate studies from Makerere University Business School, and I had 2 jobs. Before I finished, I had 2 job offers. One was at Uganda Human Rights Commission, and another one was at Leather Industries Uganda. The one at Uganda Human Rights Commission necessitated me doing doing something legal. Did I study legal stuff? No, but I had an opportunity in that organization, and I also had an opportunity to become an accounts assistant at Leather Industries Uganda. So I've graduated. I have a short amount of time, let's say 48 hours, and I need to make a decision. So where do I go? Do I go to Uganda Human Rights Commission? Do I go to Leather Industries Uganda? I don't know how I made the decision, but 48 hours later, I ended up in Uganda. In Leather Industries Uganda as an accounts assistant. Today, what I want to talk to you about is not to be spontaneous with your career, is to be intentional and make sure that you are being productive from your career. So I'll get to define a couple of things, and then we'll get started. One, there are 3 or 4 kinds of people that I'm interested in, and I've created 4 profiles, and you can identify yourself in one of these. Profile 1 is, we'll call the lady Fatma. Fatma is 35 years old. Okay, she gets her dream job in Dubai as a project manager. after submitting CVs through LinkedIn. And while she's there, after working for a couple of years, 2, 3 years, one day she's seated, she goes out on a date with a guy that she had fallen in love with, and she sits on the same table during the month of Ramadan. And guess what? It is illegal to do that during the month of Ramadan, even other months, but more so in that part of the world. So she's put on probation, and later she has about 2.5 weeks from being deported and losing her job when the general manager one day gets to meet her in the corridors and asks her, so what's going on? And she says, within less than 2.5 weeks I'll be leaving. These are true stories. I'm just changing the names. I'll be leaving Dubai. I'll be deported back to my country in Uganda. And says, no. You know what? We'll make an exception. You are an incredible employee. So you've seen she works up country. She goes through these things, and later she has back her job because of the relationships that she had created. That's profile number one. Profile number two, we'll call this gentleman Kaija. Kaija is 25 years old, recently graduated from Law Development Center, and after he graduates, he gets to discover that he does not really love law. What he loves is HR, human resource. Tries to get a job in human resource, but I keep on telling him, no, you don't have the degree in human resource. And later he applies for internship, and he gets to learn law on the job. Okay, so far I've shared two profiles. I hope you can identify yourself. One of Fatma and another one of Kaija. The third profile, and some of you will see yourselves in this one, is a gentleman called Bomba. Bomba is 32 years old. He's a teacher. He falls in love with an MBA foreign student that comes into the country of Uganda from Thailand. Okay, and what he does is that he applies after the lady finishes her research in Kampala. She flies back to Thailand, and Bomba stays here. But he wants, because of love, his career has taken a twist. He needs to move to Thailand. Okay, I want you to follow closely. Bomba needs to move to where? To Thailand. So what does he do? He starts to apply for jobs, but the policy in Thailand is that you only get a job if you're a national. Nationals are given priority over the other people. So Bomba, being smart as a teacher, he gets to discover that doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is what? Insanity. So this is what he does. He goes to his LinkedIn account, and then he looks at all the jobs in Thailand, and he keeps sharing. If you're interested in this job and you're in Thailand, please apply. I know these guys, they are incredible. Those posts where he shares, guess what happens? He gets about 13 likes, and the MD based in France looks at this post and he says, this is interesting, this is different. The guy is not actually applying for the job, but is recommending and is talking about the company like he knows it. So they call him and say, Bomba, are you interested? Of course, he takes on the job. Bomba gets to move to Thailand, be with the love of his life, and his career takes off in that part of the world. I hope you're identifying yourself in one of these profiles. And the fourth profile that I want to share is this gentleman is called Mukene. Mukene is 23 years old. A recent graduate with an entrepreneurial mind. He started a cleaning company, and it has been off and on. This month it's doing well, another month it's not doing so well. He wants to create something, but he's his business is not living the dream of that ultimate entrepreneur. What does he do? He applies for a job and he starts to juggle his cleaning company and do what and his business becomes a side hustle. So I've shared 4 profiles and you can identify yourself in any of those. Now, you can see that careers they are diverse. They can take on so many different directions. Yours could be one of the two. It could be one of the ones that I've shared, either from Mukene, from Fatma, Kaija, and or Bomba. Okay, so let's put a stop there. Okay, and go to something else because I need to make sure that you understand the context. So after identifying you there, let's get to define what some key words here. Okay, one of them is career. What is a career? A career is an occupation undertaken for a significant period of a person's life with opportunities of progress. So a career is only a career if you're applying yourself to something that is productive and there are opportunities for growth. Without those two, there is no career. So that is the definition of the career that you are going to be using on the call. And then the other word that I need to define that is key is the word productivity. Okay? So productivity, when you hear productivity, what do you think about? Productivity is simply about value. It's about knowing what the needs are and the wants and whether the people can buy. Okay, so you're working as you're working as a project manager. Does the organization where you work, does it have the need for a project manager? Do they want one, and are they willing to exchange money for that service? If they do, then you have a chance to provide that value and be productive therein. So looking at just to give you a context of how the world has evolved in terms of value and what we call productivity. Productivity goes on changing. It shifts. What is productive today is not productive. What is not productive yesterday? Internet cafes. Internet cafes were providing value, and the people that were investing in such businesses were productive. But now, an internet cafe in 2023, bad idea. What has changed? The value has changed, and so the people that invest in there cannot be productive. So let me give you a history on how productivity has evolved. So back in 1719, I'm giving you a 300-year history in 3 minutes. So back in 1719, a gentleman, this was an economist called Francois Quaye, developed something that they call a table économique. A table économique is like a table of economics, okay? And in this table of economics, you had this was during the agricultural era or agrarian era, okay? So the farmers were the productive class. If you were a farmer, you were the productive class. You'd be an equivalent of the fintech guys in this day and age. So farmers back in the day, they were regarded as the productive class. And then you had the merchants. These merchants are the ones who moved value around. They bought goods from the farmer and they sold to the end user. These were the merchants. They were called proprietors. Okay, I need you to follow. And then there was the third class, the guys who owned the land and they were charging people to farm on their land. These guys were called the sterile class, the ones that you would call landlords. So whether you are aware of it or not, once upon a time, landlords were looked at a sterile class, and the farmers, the guys who used to go and farm, were looked at the productive class, and they were paid highly back in the day. We are talking about the 1700s back in the day. Yeah. So moving on to the 1800s, that's when we have the industrial era, and We have guys like Adam Smith, Karl Marx, all these guys. If you did your economics in senior five, you know what I'm talking about. So these guys, they developed production now was about specialized labor. Okay, actually, Adam Smith, in his book Wealth of Nations, I would advise you to read that book if you love to read. Adam Smith says that unspecialized labor, if you have one person and they are unspecialized labor, i.e., they don't know what they are doing, it will take them a full day to make one nail. However, if you take 10 people and each of them is doing a process of how to make a nail, 10 people can produce 4,800 nails in one day. One unspecialized person will produce one nail. 10 specialized laborers will produce 4,800. Okay, so that is the industrial age that rewards the laborer, the guy who puts in a lot of work. Hard work pays. That is the generation 1800s, and then we come to the 1900s and up to this present day. And this period is what we, in terms of productivity, is what we call the neoclassicals. The neoclassicals are all about preference. Value is subjective. You're on this call because you find the value on this call. There are people that are not on this call because to them, it's not valuable, so they are not here. Okay? But when something political goes on, they will be on that call and they will make the time, even if it's 10 p.m. So they are different. You can see that, it goes on shifting and shifting. Now, something under the neocolonials, value is so subjective that in this day and age, users control the value. That's why, we have TikTok millionaires. Guys just post content and they become TikTok millionaires. They become influencers. And also on the side of employees, employees can easily move to different value points. If they don't like what they are getting here, they can move to another point. Why? Because value is subjective. Okay, so that is the 300-year history of what value is. I hope you are learning something. Now, speaking of value, I want to thank our sponsors. Sudesh International Consult, and they have an interesting offer that I want to make available to each of us here. The offer is called Blueprint. Blueprint is for forward-thinking leaders looking for full discovery of value and getting 10 times more efforts from their jobs or business within 12 months. Unlike other career coaching programs, our 12-session program addresses individuals as well as team issues. So it covers two sides. Yeah. Coach Sudesh has coached over 250 executives, giving them clarity and innovation, and he will be hands-on to coach you throughout the 12 sessions. Now, the sessions have been going for $2,599, and for only 10 days from now, starting today, they will be going for $1,222 only. 12 sessions. That's a big bargain. So what can you do to take advantage of this? There will be a link that is going to be shared shortly on our page, and you can book an appointment. I'll be personally there to coach you and tell you more about that. All right, so going back to our topic for today. There are three things that I need you to know. Okay, we've looked at the profiles, we've looked at the history of productivity and careers. Now let's look at the three things that will help you to advance your career. If you're to get anything from this call, get this. So there are three things. There is attitude, effort, and progress. So some people have a positive attitude, other people have a negative attitude, and other people have an indifferent attitude. Who of those is going to advance? Guess what? Attitude by itself is not enough. It is highly important. Actually, studies by Harvard and Stanford universities that were made years back found out that 85% the reason why someone makes it in their career and or life is because of attitude, and 15% because of skill. So attitude is incredibly important. So if you're to advance in your career, attitude is incredibly paramount. The second thing that you need to advance in your career is effort. Are you putting in the effort, or you just show up, open your screen, and then you look at it from 9 a.m. or from 8 a.m. and then it's 5 p.m. and then you go home and they ask you, how was work? You say, yeah, work was fine. So on the side of effort, are you positively putting in effort? Are you taking away from the effort? Because people that do not put in effort are a drag on productivity. They bring down others. Or are you indifferent? And then when you put attitude and effort, only then do you get progress. So are you making progress, or you are backsliding? Okay, backsliding is not only in church, it's also in careers. So 3 things: attitude, effort, and progress. Measure things. If that's the only thing you get from this call, it will help you. Now, after knowing about attitude, effort, and progress, here are a couple of nuggets that I want to give you. One is that the only thing that you can control is preparation. When it comes to you getting ahead and being productive in your career, you do not only understand value, but you need to prepare. Proper prayer planning prevents poor performance. You need to prepare. Read your books, get coached, study. Give yourself to learning. Today, this afternoon, I was coaching one of my clients, and man, this lady has, she has read over 250 business books. Okay, and it's no doubt that she is ahead in her career at such a young age. She's almost vying for CEO. So that's one. And then secondly, the second nugget I need to share is there is no career that is excused from storms. I mean, storms are going to come. Some people have times when they're tested on things. They're tested on things, whether it's financial. They are tested on how they handle their teams. They are tested on how they manage themselves, i.e., self-leadership. Are you able to show up on time? Do you have the discipline? Do you have to be policed around, or you can take initiative? You'll be tested on all those things. So the other nugget that I want to leave you is that, you do not need to leave your job or your business because you're going through a rough patch. No. Storms are everywhere. Guess what? You live there, you go to another place, there will be a storm. It's guaranteed it will be there. So if the storms hit everyone, then the issue is not the storms. Okay? The problem here is not the storms, but the structure. For the Bible readers, the wise man who built his house on a rock, and then the foolish man built his on the sand. And when the storms came, which house stayed? The one that was built on a rock. The same thing applies to career. Some of the things that come, they are to build your character. And unless something is really gross and you're being abused emotionally and or physically, or verbally, then I think that's an extreme. But there are challenges that come to test what you're made of and the structure. So it's important that you weigh in and see whether you're going to use it to change or you're going to move. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you listen to my past Twitter spaces, I give so many challenges that I've been through. There's one Twitter space that I want to recommend. It's about the 10 mistakes I made in my first 3 years of entrepreneurship. Listen to that, and it's one storm after another. and I share the lessons I learned therein. I don't have the time to share those today. So again, if storms hit everyone, then the issue is not storms, but the structure. Okay? When you go and you're not able to get that promotion, that's a storm. When you are under pressure and you need to deliver on things, that's a storm. When your business is not doing well and you need to go out and dig in, that's a storm. When you waking up and you cannot put two strings together but you need to make things work, that's a storm. Okay? And the last nugget that I want to share with you is it's important for you to be aligned and experience what you value. What you value as a person, and we get to delve deep in discovering what you value when I get to coach you personally. Okay, on when I get to coach you personally on the blueprint, we get deeper to find out, because people are different. People are different and they are looking for different things from a job and or from a business. And until you are aligned to that extent, you won't be able to stand the storm and you won't be able to prepare accordingly. Okay, so 3 nuggets that I've shared. Now, going to the last part of the Twitter space, and I hope you're learning something. So here are the 10 decisions that will give you 10 times more productivity. Okay, I'm sharing these from a standpoint of everything that I share here is tried and tested. These are things I've lived. These are not things that I've looked at on Google, or if I look at Google, it's just to validate. But these are things that have worked in my life, and I'm extending them to you. So, 10 decisions that you need to make, yeah, to become 10 times more productive. You remember at the beginning when I told you about when I had 2 jobs in 2 different organizations, and I had to make a decision, and I ended up in one organization. Guess what? Life is about decisions. Okay, the difference between who you're going to be at the end of this year is not based on how things are easy. It's based on the decisions that you make. So here are 10 decisions that are going to make the last part of this year more productive, so that you may be able to catch up with the rest of the year if it hasn't been very well. Okay. The first decision that will make you more productive is to write down the outputs and or activities. Okay, at the beginning of the week, if this was on video, you'd see what I'm talking about. I have my notepad. I like the old style kind of thing, so I'll write down all the projects that I'm involved in. If I have a client that is let's say Toshiba Motors, so Toshiba Motors will be my project. And then if my wife and I are doing some farming, I'll write farming as a project. And then if I have to make a trip, I'll write, let's say, the Nairobi trip as a project. So I'll first write out everything. Why do I write out everything? Because brains in neuroscience, when you study neuroscience, brains are not designed to keep things. Okay, you put them down, you ink it. Yeah. So when I write down things, then now under each project, like I'll go to, let's say, my Nairobi trip project, and then I'll say, what are the activities on this project? Remember, it's about making progress. So I'll write book ticket, call hotel, make reservation, talk to, maybe call the driver and let them be aware. So I'll write down different things that I must do. Okay. But again, that productivity system, all that I share on the blueprint program where I get to coach you for productivity. But the first decision that you need to make is to write down the output. What do you want? Okay. Maybe some of you started the year and your pastor told you this is the year of so and so, this is the year of this is the year of that, but you did not write down what outputs you exactly needed. And guess what? June has gone by, we're in July, and when you look back, It's not looking so good. I challenge you today, before you leave the call, to get a sheet of paper, to get a pen, write down the output that you would want for the rest of the year from your career. Okay? And if you don't mind, share it with me. I'll be able to give you output. The second decision that you need to make is to choose one task to win the day. Okay? Every day I have so many things to do, family, work, ministry, this, that. There are so many things to do. But I always choose that one thing that if I did, the day would be complete. What is it for you? Is it you need to complete a certain project? Is it that you need to send through a certain proposal? Is it that you need to finish a book? Is it that you need to finish that coaching session? Is it a performance appraisal? What's that one thing each day that if you finished, you'd feel proud of yourself? So, one, write down the outputs, and then choose one task to win the day. And thirdly, this is a game changer. Commit 10 minutes to focus every day. Commit 10 minutes. Every day before I get to office, when I park the car, I stay in the car and I put on some nice instrumental music, and I start imagining my day, how it's going to be. I see myself, if it's a training, I see myself having fun, and I see myself people transformed. I see us having great conversations. I see us, the team and I enjoying. I see myself doing all these things. It is focusing on the day. It's meditation. It will put you in such a state that you'll be unstoppable. Okay, so that's the third decision. The fourth decision is find or create peak hours. Now, I know you've had, there are people that they work very well at night, and there are people that work very well in the morning. I totally agree. Yeah. But this is where all that comes from. They say that some needs are acquired by what is required. Now, because of how I have been raised, okay, I was raised by a mother who was up by 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. To this day, you ask my wife, I'm up 3:30. I'm up, okay, and 4, I am on the road, or I start working. That is how I do my stuff. So you call me a morning person. However, and this is a big however, about 2 years ago, I started questioning this thing of morning person, night person, because on some days I was required to work at night. Okay, so would I say that, okay, I'm a morning person, I'm not going to work at night? No, I had to develop and create peak hours within the night where I can work. So find or create your peak hours. I have peak hours during the day. My greatest peak hours during the day are from 4 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's when I'm superb. And in the evening, it's 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So I'm not really what you would call a morning person. I've found my peak hours in different times. Okay. The fifth decision that you need to make is you can experiment on working with a study or work music. Yeah, like there are times when I write a blog every week, on different topics. Actually, this week I'm going to write about how you can be more productive in your career. Now, sometimes I don't feel like writing. And when I learned about music can change the mood. Okay? When music is played at a funeral, it's different. When music is played, people get up and dance. Why? Because it changes the mood. So One of those days, I'm not feeling like writing. I put on the music, so I get an instrumental, and then I get like hip hop, something that is upbeat, and then I start typing as I'm writing, as I'm shaking my head. Eh? So you can experiment with music. There is a saying that the best song for productivity is the one whose lyrics you don't know, because if you know the lyrics, then you will stop doing whatever you're doing and then start singing along, because minds try to fill in. But get instrumentals of songs that you don't know, but they have the rhythm and the beat that can make you do whatever you have to do. And then sixth, I hope you're learning something. The sixth decision that will make you more productive is to rest purposefully. Okay, some people rest only after the work is done. They will rest at they rest at 2 a.m., they rest at 4 a.m., they will rest at whichever time. And then during the day, they will drag themselves along. I used to be that person. I would never rest until everything was done. Until so what would happen was that I would be effective for about 72 hours, okay? Because I'm working long hours, and then the next 48 hours I'm just useless. Why? Because I'm deprived of sleep. I can't function, I can't think very well. So now I've learned to rest purposefully. Whether I've finished something or not, I rest. Unless it's a what? Unless it's a deadline. But usually those ones, there are better ways to manage them. The seventh is to go for quality over quantity. So, what work or what tasks give you the best quality? Now, I know what you're thinking. Sudesh, I have a job and everything that is given to me is important. No, 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 no. I beg to disagree. Not everything that is given to you is as important as the next thing. And it's always important to you when tasks are delegated to you. And I tell this to my team. When tasks are delegated to you, ask the level of priority. Is it a top priority? Is it a mid priority? Or is it a low priority? If it's a top priority, start with that, because it is quality over quantity. Now, when you go into, there's a saying that when you buy cheap, you buy twice. When you do all the low priority tasks, guess what? You're going to spend as much time doing the hard stuff. Okay? When you buy cheap, you buy twice. So sometimes it's buying a tool. You buy a fourth-hand laptop. Why? Because you want to save money. It's not going to make you productive. Buy a buy a brand new laptop, because when you buy cheap, you buy twice. This fourth hand laptop will slow down, it will crash, your work will disappear, and then you will buy another laptop. So you end up buying twice or thrice. Okay? And then the seventh, no, that's the eighth, yeah? The eighth is manage your state. Yeah, managing state is how you feel on the inside, and it comes from how you move your body. Okay, so get into some form of exercise. These days I started training for the Int'l marathon in November, and I'm in a great state all the time. Why? Because I manage my state. And the ninth, second last decision that you need to make. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. Learn to say no. Learn to say no. Every time you say yes to something you don't want to do, you're saying no to the things that matter. Let me say that again. Every time you say yes to something you don't want to do, you're saying no to the things that matter. So, you have a job, you're a mother, you're a father, you're a husband, your wife, and then you have some programs at church, and you have a side business, and oh my God, they called you because there is a birthday party over the weekend, and in the evening there is a marriage fellowship, and guess what? your cousin has also asked you to be there because it's a visiting day, and you're doing so much and you're saying no to none. Guess what? You'll be depleted. Your energy will be depleted. Learn to say no. Actually, say no to more things than I say yes. Why? Because it's about quality over quantity. All the 13 things that you need to do are not as important. What if you just find out, okay, what is the most important thing for me to do this weekend is to spend time with my family. Do that, and then the rest, just say, guys, I'm not able. Okay. And in this part of the world, most people are yes person. We call them people pleasers. You say yes, and then you end up lying. You do all sorts of things to your character, which are not good. Okay, so learn to say no. And last but not least, tell the truth. Tell the truth, guys. This is the most important decision that will make you productive. Tell the truth. Case in point, one time I'm on this job, in some other company, and my boss comes to me and tells me, you know what? We'll need to give the tax authorities a bribe. And I struggled with that thing, and the guy told me, you know what? Do it. I need you to do it because you're about to save the company. And there was immense pressure. Now, my values do not align with that, but I was very close to do it. But I said, if I do it, no, I'm not going to have sleep. So I go back and tell the guys, I won't be able to do it. To cut the long story short, after that, I was fired from that job. I think it was about a month after that. I was fired from that job, and the rest is history. I'll tell more of this story. But also, another story that comes to mind is this was during COVID. Okay, so COVID, we signed one of the biggest contracts in. Actually, it's not the biggest, but like the second biggest contract we've ever signed as Suresh International Consult. And one of the guys that I'm supposed to report to in the organization calls me after I've signed and the money has been transferred, and he tells me, you know what, we are going to change the terms of reference to something else. He said, and I'll need you to send back that money to my personal account. I need you to send back 70% of the money because we're going to revise the scope. You're not going to do all the work. So the work that you're going to do does not require us to pay you all that money. So send back 70% because I'm about to narrow the scope and you'll be reporting to me. Don't worry about a thing. And I told him, man, do I need to make a decision right now? Said, you think about it. Okay, so during that time, of course, cars were not moving. They would send, they had stickers. They would send their company vehicles to pick me from my house, takes me to the office and what. But I wasn't okay with it. I'm talking about telling the truth. And after like a week of, I'm not sleeping. I'm thinking about this thing. I want to do the work. But again, I feel I'm being compromised, but this is the guy I'm going to report to. What if he disapproves the work? So eventually I tell the guy, you know what? There are two options I've been thinking about. One, I'm going to write a letter saying I'm unable to do the work. I think that will give you chance to give the money to someone that can send back the 70%. Or actually, I had three options. The second one was, please let us do the work as per the contract signed. The third was, I'm going to reverse all the money, 100% of it, but I'm going to reverse it from the company account. So I'm going to make a reversal, journal, and the money goes back to the company account, and then I'll write a letter to back it up. And the guy said, no, it's okay. Get to do the work. Okay. And later, they transferred that guy, and I was reporting to another person. But before they transferred him, I went to him and he looked me in the face and said, Sudesh, thank you for not being compromised. Ladies and gentlemen, from that day, we've been rising and rising and rising. One of the things that is going to make you highly productive is not to cut corners. It's not to lie, and there are those lies of you saying you're in Nakawa, yet you're in Bugolobi. Those are there, but the most important thing is tell yourself the truth. Tell the truth and tell it to two people. Tell yourself the truth. If you suck at something, you suck at something. If you've been stuck for 8 months, you've been stuck for 8 months. If you've been stuck for 6 months, tell yourself the truth. Don't tell yourself, oh, I'm doing so well and what. Yes, I understand the faith part. Be very candid with yourself and tell yourself, you know what? I know where I should be. I'm just not there. Things are, 6 months have gone by down the road. I expected to have bought a car. I expected to have done this. I expected to be at this level. I'm not there. Tell yourself the truth. And also, tell others the truth. Tell yourself the truth and tell others the truth. Now, what I just shared comes from a coaching program on career and business that we call Blueprints. Yeah, that helps you to find full discovery of what value you have. Sometimes you're blinded to the value that you bring on the table and how you can maximize the productivity within 12 months and see a huge difference. So again, we are making an offer. The program is a 12 session where I get to coach you personally. It has been at $2,500, but now it's at $1,200. Okay, so take advantage of that. Now it's time for questions. All right. Hassan Balix, where can we get the project management template that you use? You can get the project I'll make an offer again. You can get the project management template that I use if you call for a free 15-minute session. Okay, I'll give it to you. I'll make it available to you free of charge. Let me see any other questions. Let me see. Okay. 10 mistakes I made in my career. That has been shared. Okay. Let me see. Any other questions? Okay. There's another interesting question here. What if I don't know what I'm doing and I'm just starting my career? What would be the best path for me to take? Okay, in the past Twitter Spaces, I share 5 levels of career development, and you have the learning stage, and then you go to the editing stage, the mastery, the harvesting, and then the sharing stage. I think when you're just starting your career, the best use of your time is to learn and soak in as much as possible. Okay, thank you for that question. Remin Kad says, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Remin. The other question here is, okay, Does productivity including negotiating for a pay rise? All right. Yeah. Interesting question. Now, when it comes to pay rises and how much you earn, there are two things that I want you to know. One is that your employer is responsible for how much they pay you, but you're responsible for how much you earn. That is one thing to know. The second is, in this life, whether it's within your career, whether it's in business, whatever it is, in this life, you don't get what you deserve. You know, that thing of feeling sorry for yourself and say, can these guys see that I'm working so hard, that I'm sacrificing, that I'm doing this? Guess what? Yes, they might see and they might appreciate what they see, but you're responsible. Okay? So in this life, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate for. Okay? If and during the blueprint program, I teach you how to negotiate. How do you negotiate for a pay rise? Okay? How do you, let's say the job is giving you you go in and the job is worth $5,000. How do you even know that it's worth $5,000 so that you don't ask for $1,000? Okay. uh, I was doing the session recently, and I'll just give you one tip when it comes to negotiating for rises and in life. When you're negotiating, your gut will always give you a figure. Okay, so let's say you the highest amount that you want is $1,000. Now, when you're negotiating, you don't say, when they ask you what are your salary expectations, you don't say, I'm expecting $1,000, but I can go lower than that. That's a poor negotiation. You're not going to maximize the productivity. You're not going to be as productive living life like that. The best way to do, and this nugget will help you, when you're negotiating your topmost amount, let's say you want $1,000 for the job, you make that the list. You say, I expect between $1,000 to $3,000. Remember, I'm expecting actually 1,000, but I've made it my list, and then I put 3,000. And then if we can meet in the middle, 2,000, 1,500, you have a great deal. Okay? Yeah. So thanks for the questions. Let me just take one or two because of time, and then we call it a day. All right. The last question. Let me read it here. The last question is, from everything you've shared, what's the most important thing? Wow, that's a nice question. Okay, from everything that I've shared, the most important aspect is for you to understand what value you bring on board. To understand that productivity has to do with value. Yeah, just because I shared a while back 10 useless degrees. You might study a useless degree and you have a lot of activity but little productivity. Why? Because the need is no longer there. So what are people valuing? What do they want? And can they buy that? Once you understand that, then you're on your way to, with the right attitude and the right effort, you're there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Don't please remember to sign up for the blueprint. It's only valid for 10 days. I hope you have enjoyed this as much as I have. Share this link with the people on your list. Have a lovely evening. Adios, muchachos.